Folks, thanks a lot for the 70,000 subscribers. You guys are awesome. But we're not stopping here. Let's push it, folks, to 100,000 subscribers. So give that support to the channel and subscribe and hit that like button down below to reach our goal of 153 likes. And now let's go for it. The New Gate, an acclaimed next-generation MMORPG, where groundbreaking technology allows players to explore a vast world as if it were real. Choosing between races like human, elf, beast, dragoner, pixie, dwarf, or lord, players can join friends in an adventure where you can defeat powerful creatures, amass endless fortunes through trade, or become a blacksmith and craft legendary weapons. Whatever it is, everything you imagine is within reach in the New Gate, an MMORPG available worldwide. However, despite the tempting promise, one day the New Gate became a literally deadly game, and since then, it has been impossible to exit the game, and dying inside meant dying for real in the real world. Shin, the most powerful player in this RPG, managed to ensure his survival through his vast skill, hoping to one day end this macabre game. Accompanied by his group of 3 other players, Shin explores the 4 corners of this virtual world and faces increasingly dangerous bosses determined to end the lives of humans trapped in this place. On one of these adventure days, Shin encountered Origin, the Gate Guardian, and even after cutting the monster's wings, it fully recovered. Focusing on preventing this regeneration, the warrior uses his steel attack to shake the opponent, gaining room to deliver several blows that almost guaranteed victory. But Origin continues to heal. Soon the human uses the Moonblade dance to turn his sword into an unparalleled source of power. Then he hits the creature one last time and defeats Origin, the Gate Guardian. With victory, Shin achieved the titles Limit Breaker, the Achiever, and the Liberator, and gained the chance to log out of the game. Checking his friends list, he sees that all of his friends were finally leaving the game one by one until he was the last one left and bid farewell to New Gate. But just as he was about to exit the game, a gate opens in front of him, throwing the boy into an unknown place. Upon touching a pedal, he notices that this place seems too real to be virtual, even with the advancement of VR technology. Looking at his attributes, he discovers that all are above 2,000, even though the limit is 999. Still, he couldn't wait to leave. The logout button had disappeared from the menu. Upon seeing if his friends had to return, the boy realizes that he doesn't even have an internet connection. So that world was indeed real. Faced with this, the boy has a brief freakout, but quickly composes himself to resolve the situation. Shin's first move is to use his item that takes him to where his base was registered, and following the path indicated by the magic bird, he finds walls of a city he had never seen. Still, he manages to find his house after a long time, and there was an elf in trouble because some thugs were after her master. To extract information, they take the elf away, but a giant wild boar emerges from the forest and sends the men running. When the beast was about to finish off the elf, Shin destroys the creature and realizes with this that he is capable of adjusting the power of the spells he wants to use, and apparently the weight of the physical attack returns to him. Later, the elf thanks him for being saved and introduces herself as Tira Lucent. Her master, whom those men were after, is called Schnee Razor, and she is the sub-manager of the Moon Sanctuary. Soon, Shin remembers this elf with waist-length silver hair because she is one of the members of his old group. After reflecting that the Moon Sanctuary is present in this world, Shin asks where Schnee could be, but the servant is not willing to reveal the mistress's location, as she barely knows the man in front of her. However, as she is responsible for taking care of the shop and delivering messages to the mistress, Tira allows Shin to deliver one of these messages to Schnee, and each of them costs 1,000 jewels. However, the boy has no idea what money this is, and he only has Joss in hand. Tira questions if he took it from some item box because only a few royals and elders are capable of using this type of box. Furthermore, Jaw coins have the power to invoke spells, making them worth about 100 million jewels. Ironically, Shin remembers that inside the game, a Jaw is like having a penny. Curious, Tira asks who the boy is, and he responds that he is just an adventurer, and according to the settings, his race is a superior human. Tira replies that the superior humans were extinct, leaving only the common ones. According to what she heard, only 6 superior humans existed, and they have been missing since the day of the decline of glory, 500 years ago, a historical event that caused the mass disappearance of countless beings. At that moment, Shin remembers that after defeating Origin, the names on his player list disappeared, and if a number of that scale disappeared, then that is a significant incident. Connecting the dots, the warrior discovers that this world is that world after passing 500 years. After that, Shin offers a Jaw coin to the girl as a sign of friendship, and the elf admires the wonderful design of the coin she so desired, while Shin ends up analyzing the wonderful design of other things that interest him. Then he comments that such a coin could be useful for the elf as this race uses a lot of magic. Tira discovers that her mistress changed her appearance with illusionary magic because black-haired elves are symbols of bad luck. This hair color is famous for attracting tragedies like the men who attacked her moments ago. Because of this misfortune, Tira was expelled from her village until Shni rescued her. So the mistress placed a mystical barrier around this shop, making Tira live safely for the last 100 years. When he asks her about it, Shin finds out that before the curse, the girl's hair was silver. So he remembers hearing about a spell called Cursed Gift. Fortunately for the elf, Shin has the ability to purify. But even though the spell worked, nothing changed in the girl's appearance except for a strand of silver hair. Faced with this, Tira is extremely happy because she loves seeing her original hair after 100 years. Next, Shin calls the elf to cross the mystical barrier and promises to eliminate any threat that may arise. Thus, she finally manages to surpass that limit and walk freely into the forest until she reaches the beautiful view of a field and cries before the immensity of the sky. Back at the Moon's Sanctuary, Shin announces that he will visit the next city in search of his lost companions. Since the neighboring city is the kingdom of Barilich, Tara hands him a letter of recommendation that will allow Shin to bypass the inspection queue there. Before the departure of the superior human, the elf promises to notify when Shni returns, and after passing through the huge inspection queue, he sees that the letter is indeed very useful. Walking through the streets of the kingdom known as Bay, Shin is taken to the Adventurers Guild, an excellent place to gather information. Inside, he asks to register as an adventurer, and the attendant asks him to go up the left stairs and follow to the counter. Upon doing exactly that, Shin comes across an attendant identical to the other, then discovers that the girl downstairs is the older twin sister of this one, and her name is Celica. The girl downstairs is now called Silica. She informs Shin that he must pay the initial fee and fill out the paperwork. Unfortunately, the guild card will only be ready the next day, so the warrior uses the time to analyze his surroundings and notice that there are many iron and copper weapons in the guild, so the overall game quality was better before. At that moment, Celica arrives to serve the dish that the newest adventurer ordered, but when he puts the food in his mouth, he comments that it's hard to eat with someone staring directly at his face. However, the girl was there to check if the Moon Sanctuary's recommendation letter was really authentic. Shin doesn't mind going through this inspection, but he would love to finish eating before going, even to avoid meeting the guild master right away. However, it seems that the master was right behind the guy, and he was the one in front of him at the first guild counter. Thus, the man introduces himself as Barlux Heem, and getting straight to the point, he asks Shin to show the recommendation letter he received. To check if it is indeed original, Barlux places an authentic letter next to it, and as both shine, the adventurer's is not fake. Soon, Shin informs that it was Tira who gave him the letter, so the guild master explains some instructions that the elf should have passed when delivering this item. Barlux explains that with this letter, it is possible to enter almost any country without having to go through inspection. It is accepted in all guilds, and in the case of this kingdom, it allows scheduling an audience with the king. To have such a valuable item in hand, many steal or even kill to achieve their evil goals. So Shin must assure the master that he can protect this letter, otherwise it will have to be destroyed right now. Shin promises to take care of the gift given by Tira to honor the elf's name. That said, Barlux Heem stands up to greet the young man and states having great expectations for him, but before leaving, Shin needs to have his skills tested right there. At the end of the day, the warrior is exhausted from all the hustle and bustle, so he plans to increase his rank as soon as he receives the guild card. The next day, he wakes up exactly where he was, so he realizes that he really wasn't in a nightmare. Returning to the guild, Shin thanks Celica for the recommendation, and the girl notices the boy's new clothes. He says that with them, he feels more free to move. However, he knows that a lower-level adventurer should not walk with that flashy equipment before. So the attendant hands the card to the adventurer and warns that there are 9 adventurer ranks, SSS, and from A to G, completing jobs gives points to rank up, and adventurers can accept jobs up to 2 ranks above theirs. Soon Shin says he will do a mission to gather Hilk's grass, a famous potion ingredient, so he says goodbye and leaves. As the boy walked away, Celica observes that he doesn't seem very imposing, even though Barlux recognized him for his ability. Sometime later, Shin has been searching for Hilk's grass for 3 hours, until he identifies a monster moving strangely on the radar. In search of the monster, Shin spots a Skullfist Jack, a level 359 monster. Upon seeing a nearby destroyed carriage, the adventurer notices that the strange movement of the creature was because it was fighting. Remembering the adventurers in the guild talking about a Skullfist Jack making several victims in the vicinity, Shin decides to put an end to the monster once and for all, but the opponent's strength and speed indicate that this will not be an easy challenge. Interestingly, the creature was an undead carrying a light element sword, and Shin had never seen that before. Upon attacking again, the human fails to cause significant damage to the enemy, and his sword shouldn't withstand many more blows. Therefore, Shin decides to test his limit break skill, to then invest against the Skullfist Jack and destroy its heart. However, the boy laments that the skeleton's sword flew away and couldn't grab it, but at least there was a precious loot gemstone. With it in hand, Shin begins to believe that this real world is much more fun than he imagined, while the sword spins until it pierces the window of a woman named Ryan. Hey folks, we're kicking off the new anime season, and if you enjoyed this anime and want to see more of it, go ahead and hit that like button down below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We need your support to reach our goal of 70,000 subscribers. Every subscription counts and helps us grow our community. Catch you next time.